So we've done a lot of the back work. Now we need to think about how we're going to control the creation of these goons and setting them up in terms of their damage and health and all that stuff. That's something that's going to have to be done within each scene itself. And you can scale the health and scale the damage. You can add an easy modifier. You could even add it to our load game here. You could say, here's our enemy NPC. You could add modifier. Matter of fact, I'll do that now. I'll do a copy, paste, and I'll say goons dot modifier. Now what that's gonna mean is, let's say you want the goon's health and damage to be 2 times more than what it is in the beginning of the game. We can simply set this modifier equal to 1 right now. That way it's always going to be whatever we set it at the beginning. But then we can say, make the modifier times 2 if you wanted. You could do it this way, or we could individually set these per scene. Okay, so you can either use a modifier to scale your damage and health, or you could just hard code these in each scene. It's really up to you. Again, it's your choice. All right, let's create this guy. So let's do another grouping here, and let's make this one called scene enemy NPCs. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to make 2 groupings. Goons named NPCs. Now this section here is going to be the one that's unique to each scene, right? Because this is going to map out essentially when they're created and when they're not created. So how do we want to do this? I want to set up an intentional battle, meaning I don't want the user to be able to skip it. I want it set in a position in room 2. That's where we're going to have this first battle, is we're going to set it up in Basic Kingdom room number 2. So how are we going to do this? We need a way to trigger this and then shut it off if you beat that NPC. All right, let's go back to load game, and let's take a look if we have anything here to manage such a thing. We've got Basic Kingdom rooms, we've got room layouts. Let's see this. All right, we can add to room 2 here actually. We can do, let's right click down here and add another grouping. And we'll call this one NPC battles. And let's add a sub event here. And we're going to call this first battle. I'm going to make this consistent. I'm going to say battle.goon1, and I'm going to make that set to 1, meaning that we haven't done it yet. Okay, so if battle.goon1 equals 1, it means we haven't done it yet. We've got to have that battle. Okay, so let's go back now to our Basic Kingdom room, and now we need to actually create this battle. So we're going to go into our goons, do a sub event here, and I'm trying to think if I want to do another grouping here just to keep it nice and neat. I think I do. Let's do goon 1 battle. And our condition is going to be, of course, battle.goon1 equals 1. If that's the case, I want to call upon this goon create. I want to do goons.create equals 1. Create. Now, I know we're doing a bunch of stuff. I'm moving very kind of quickly here. But you can slow this down and walk yourself through it again. We can't just send this over, right? We need to also send the information that we want for this particular battle and for this particular goon. So, again, we can do this two ways. We could hard code this and use a modifier. That would be the easiest way, I think. In other words, we could say, we could hard code the damage equal to 1 and the health equal to 1. But then we'd still have to modify these variables in terms of the positioning and the dialogue if we need it. And then again, we could just use a modifier for these. That might be the easiest way to do it for right now, is to do it this way, because then we just have to change the modifier for our levels. Let's go with that, okay? And that's just for damage and health. We do need to set up the positioning, however, for this goon battle. So let's do that. Let's do variable goons dot position x is going to equal, let's set it out about 96. And I'm going to put this up here. I want to create this position, this coordinate first before I trigger this external event. Then I'm going to copy this, paste it, and change this to y. And I'm going to make this about halfway down the screen, which would be about 400. All right, so we've got our position. We're now triggering the goon creation. Let's go ahead and create it on the screen, which would be, let's see, objects, create an object. We want to create a goon. And where do we want to create it? At its position, at its goons.pos, whoops, x. What am I missing here? What doesn't it like? Oh, that's not going to help because we're no longer using that. This is going to be global variable goons.position x. There we go. Whoops. What just happened? No, what am I doing? Jeez. We're creating an object. We're just trying to create a goon. Okay, there we go. Now let's copy this, paste it in, change that to Y. Base layer is where we want it to be on the base layer here, so let's hit OK. We probably do want to give this a Z order, however, because of the fact that it's on the base layer. So goons, going to have a Z order of probably at least 25 that'll keep it on above everything. So goon 25, that works. Do we have a way out yet for this one? No, let's put that in here. Let's change our goons.create equal to 0 after that. Okay. Way out. All right, the last thing here I'm just realizing is because Basic Kingdom Room covers all the rooms, we actually need to break this up based on the room, right? You know what I mean? Like we have current room 0, 1, and 2. So let's create another grouping. And actually, let's move this grouping underneath. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it like this because it'll be easier to copy and paste this section rather than copy and paste the current room with it. So let's do a copy and paste. One, and let's say 2. And I'm going to add a sub event underneath here and say let me just get the right variable here, sorry. Kingdom rooms.current room, there we go. Kingdom rooms.current room equals 2. Then we want to run this code here. All right. Did we do enough to get this to work? That was pretty long. Let's actually see if that worked or not. Oops, I forgot to shut down this. I've got to shut that down. All right, here's current room 2. Look at that. There he is. Although we have to still fix the health bar thing, though, at the top. Whew, that was a lot of work. A lot of work. Don't be afraid to slow it down and watch it again. To see sort of how we did this, and then we'll have to do another cleanup, I guess, to fix this as well.